Pokemon Scarlet and Violet seemingly gave fans of the Pokemon franchise exactly what they've been wanting ever since the release of Red and Blue in 1996. A free, open-world experience where you can quite literally live the life of a Pokemon trainer. All of the Pokemon in the world are in their natural habitat while you wander around trying to find the ideal fit for your team. So after longing for this for so many years, did Scarlet and Violet live up to the enormous amount of hype that it generated? Well, in this review of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, I aim to answer that exact question. The first thing I'm going to be talking about is the gameplay, as this is the most important factor of pretty much any game, but especially when it comes to Pokemon. This game takes the Legends Arceus format of open world exploring and builds on it to the point where you can literally go anywhere you want at any time. In Legends, you were somewhat restricted as you had 5 main areas to explore that needed to be unlocked by progressing through the story. Now you can go to any area you want straight away, meaning that in theory you could go and challenge the last gym leader right at the beginning of the game. Not that you'd want to, but there is that choice. Alongside the vast open world experience, you have the returning wild encounter mechanic, whereby all Pokemon are just wandering around in their natural habitat, which is honestly fantastic as this was one of the best things about Legends Arceus. Being able to pick and choose what you encounter and when makes life so much more streamlined in Paldea. But that's not the only thing that's become more convenient in the mainline games. Now, you aren't forced into trainer battles at all, so instead you have the option to go up to trainers who are standing by and initiate one yourself, giving you the freedom to either specifically go out and train your party up or freely roam and explore the region, which is such a breath of fresh air in terms of the gameplay. The one thing that I will say is, along with the returning features from Legends, we also got the return of low frame rates when running around. Unfortunately, the Switch is a pretty limited console compared to the ambitions of Scarlet and Violet, so this can make for some quite dicey gameplay. Sometimes you'll experience stuttering when playing, along with rendering issues as you'll be looking into what looks like a vast open bit of grass until the last moment where a Pokemon or trainer pops in out of thin air. It's frustrating when it's happening, but I can get over it as it's not a constant thing. Another thing that stayed is the use of Pokemon for HM purposes, without having a physical HM that you need to waste a move slot on. In Scarlet and Violet, you're quickly joined by the Box Art Legendary, and they become your all-in-one HM machine, with you being able to ride on them through water, on land, and in the air, which all makes for an extremely seamless exploring experience. So now I'm going to look at the storyline of the game, as this is something that Scarlet and Violet really tried to focus on when delivering a new and unique experience. In past generations, you had a very linear and one-dimensional storyline, consisting of fighting your way through 8 gym leaders and then defeating the Elite Four. Each game had a subplot with the villainous team of that generation, but it was very much something they dropped in at various stages for you to get past and then forget about completely. In Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, this has all changed, as you now have the choice of 3 different storylines to complete in any order you wish. Firstly, you have the main storyline, which is your classic 8 gym badges and Elite Four. Then you have the treasure hunt storyline, consisting of finding mystical herbs dotted around Paldea. This has you finding and defeating 5 different Terra Pokemon, which is a new feature I'll talk about later on, which can be linked somewhat to the noble Pokemon in Legends Arceus. Finally, you have the Team Star storyline, which has you defeating 5 different bosses in order to take down the evil team of Generation 9. The cool thing about all of this is that you can tackle any of them you want, whenever you want. You could go and try and complete the full Team Star storyline at the beginning of the game, but it won't be as simple as just doing that, as the level scaling will be totally off. So if you were to complete 2 of the 3 storylines first, then the last one will be very easy due to the level of your Pokemon. The best and most fun way to go about this is to complete all 3 simultaneously, so it consistently stays as a challenge. You still have a lot of freedom when doing this, as you can do each section of the storyline in whatever order you like. So for example, you could fight the first gym leader and then take on the 3rd boss of Team Star, so it makes for a much more unique experience for each player. Also, for each of the Terra Pokemon and Team Star bosses that you defeat, you gain a sort of badge, which means overall in the game there are 18 to collect. What I personally really like is that every single badge you collect requires you to battle a different kind of Pokemon, as the 18 battles all use one of the 18 types within the game. This makes for really diverse gameplay and forces you into planning your team more strategically. There are so many routes you could take to build the most well-rounded party, and that's great. Replayability has always been a strength of the Pokemon franchise, and Scarlet and Violet are no exception. Finally, I'm going to talk about the new features added into the game, and trust me, there's a lot of them. I believe the main thing to mention is the Terra Pokemon, who each have the capability to terastallize in battle and become more powerful, and even in certain cases change their typing completely. There are specific Terra Pokemon you can catch through raids that will change type once you terastallize them, making for an even more unpredictable battling landscape than we've ever seen before. The only slightly annoying thing about it is that you require an orb to use the move, and then after you've terastallized, you'll need to go and charge it up again, but it's definitely still worth it. Also, just a side note, and it's pretty unrelated to the games, but if they can get the card designs looking right for the terastallized Pokemon, they will look incredible. The crystal-like design with some of the colours used could make for some absolute beauties. Anyway, that's just one of the features added. Another is the ability to send your Pokemon into battle on its own. Now this might sound a bit weird, but it allows you to farm XP quite a bit faster, so the grindy aspect of Pokemon has multiple ways to approach it now. Pokemon can also be sent out to collect materials like in Legends, then these materials can be used to craft all sorts of valuable items, with the main new one being TMs. Even though they are single use, you can craft as many as you like, so it's basically multi-use. You've just got to explore a bit to get them. You still can find TMs dotted around though, and you'll know it is one of them as it will glow gold rather than red like other items, so you have plenty of options in terms of what new moves you can teach your Pokemon. The feature that I'm definitely most excited to play though is the co-op mode, where you can invite up to 4 people to play at a time and roam around together. So as soon as I find some mates, I'll be playing straight away. This is an incredible addition to the game in so many ways, as you can battle together in raids against Terra Pokemon or just explore the region with a lot of freedom, as you're not really required to remain super close to your friends whilst playing. I think where it's most beneficial though is in completing the Pokédex, as you can visit a friend's region who's playing the other version of the game and catch all of the exclusives you otherwise wouldn't be able to on your version. This makes playing together both fun and meaningful, which is an ideal fit for the kind of franchise Pokemon is. You can even set up picnics wherever you want around the map to chill out and tend to your party. There's a lot going on in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, which is refreshing in 2022 where games are usually released half finished. So with that being said, the price of £50 or $60 for this game is more than justified by the pure amount of content you get. It's the perfect blend of the elements that made Legends such a breath of fresh air and the nostalgic feeling of the mainline games. If 12-year-old Ferg could have seen what was to come in the Pokemon franchise, he'd have lost his mind. Yes, we had a few rough releases along the way, but Scarlet and Violet are brilliant and well worth the wait. So as an overall rating, I'm going to give Pokemon Scarlet and Violet a 9 out of 10. It's not perfect and has its performance issues, but it's another massive step in the right direction from Game Freak. If you enjoyed this review of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, be sure to check out our solely Pokemon based channel, DiamondLobby Pokemon. I've left a link to it on screen now.